safe to say you have a much better feel for your personnel now?
Yeah.
At the end of last spring? And
sure.
In what ways?
Well, I just think the more you're around each other, the more you see them over the course of time. Certain things they do, positions that they're in, whether it's a D lineman playing a certain technique or an outside backer rushing or covering, just all those things. So the amount of repetitions really show you.
How much do you think you'll still be learning it once the games start? I mean, how they react to certain situations?
Well, it's, practice is one thing, and you try and simulate the game situations as best you can in practice, but there's nothing like that. You obviously emphasize those things, and then it's time to go cut it loose and be able to play in those situations and execute at a high level, and that's what we're looking for. So we'll see, and I know the guys are excited to finally go do that.
LSU's read option game tends to leave the 3 or the 5 tech unblocked rather than the 7 or the 9. Have you been putting extra work in with guys like Chikwe and Connor Shee to keep them from, keep them within their assignment and not biting too hard in one direction or the other?
Yeah, it kind of depends on the front you play. So they'll read the 3, they'll read the 5, they'll read the 4 high, they'll read the stacked inside linebacker. So you're right there. So you work all those things, absolutely.
Just what you like from the young secondary. I know you had a
Yeah.
couple true freshmen in your 2 deep.
Right.
Especially Caesar and Patrick. How
Yeah.
do you think they're approaching this weekend?
Well, I know they're both excited. It's been a lot for them. It's been a pretty significant change, obviously, from high school to here, but they've handled it really well. I mean, such a big part of that transition is, obviously it's physical because the game's faster, it's more explosive, it happens quicker. But the mental part of it and be able to stay focused on a day in, day out, every walkthrough, every practice, and that's probably been one of the most impressive things about those guys is they've stayed in it.
Were those 2 guys you had earmarked that could be early contributors for you, or is it,
yeah,
too hard to say?
Yeah, every time you sign somebody, you kind of hope, you're cautiously optimistic, I guess, but you never really know until they get here because you know how that goes. I mean, you get to know them in recruiting, so you think you got a good feel, but it's a change for them, right? They're leaving home, it's new terminology, it's a new setting and new coaches and all that stuff. So you just never really know, but all those guys, really the freshmen in general, have done a really, really nice job.
I know T.J. Edwards missed obviously a lot of time, missing all of camp, but how much has he been able to do since he's been able to get back and do some stuff this week?
Yeah, he's working with obviously he's in the football meetings and doing as much as he can, working with our strength and conditioning and the treatment center. So TJ will be back as fast as humanly possible.
Just have you always coached up in the box, or is this something new for
both,
you?
Yeah, both.
What do you like about that vantage point?
Yeah.
I know each has its pros and cons.
Right. Well, you see.
Right.
You can see it better, so that's probably the first and foremost. I mean, not to oversimplify it, but yeah, you see better. So the communication is just a little different, and it's just different dynamics on different staffs of who's on the field and substitution and position. So there's no right or wrong way.
Against a running back like Leonard Fournette, obviously you want defenders to step up and make plays, but at the same time, they have to be responsible for their own gap. And how do you balance, wanting a guy to go above and beyond to make the play, but then also not void his responsibility?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. You got to play assignment football, and you got to play with great technique and effort, and you have a primary and a secondary job, and that's key on a guy like this because really nobody's tackled him consistently one-on-one. It just nobody has, and so you got to. We want to tackle as good as we possibly can, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of guys run to the football and get a lot of bodies around the ball to support each other.
Why is he so successful when you watch him on film about the one-on-one tackling? Why does he have so much success there? You can simplify it if you want. I'm sure.
Big and athletic and strong and quick.
Yeah.
Probably the same reason you think. Yeah,
right.
He's a really talented guy. He's just a unique talent. He's very, very explosive. He runs very hard. And he can make a cut, in a hole that a lot of guys, most people his size can't make.
Going back through your career, is there anybody you can say, well, he's kind of like this guy?
Yeah, I don't like, I never have liked comparing people. I would just say, I've got to coach against, been on some teams with some really good, talented backs, and he's as good as any runner I've ever seen.
Justin, when you guys have a secondary with some shorter defensive backs, obviously going up against some really big wide receivers or tight ends, do you guys even address that, or is it just what you work on each day, technique?
Yeah, I think it's technique. It's putting yourself in the right position, whether it's leverage, it's playing technique when the ball's in the air. All those things matter, absolutely, yeah.
How much do you address it? Because, if you got a guy that's given up some inches, you don't want it, I'm guessing you don't want it in his mind too much that he thinks he's defeated.
Well, ask Jim Leonard.
Oh, I will, okay.
No, ask Jim Leonard how he dealt with it, right? I don't mean to, right?
Yeah.
you know.
I think he had like a 38-inch vertical.
There you go. That helps. Yeah. But I mean, so yeah, they got tall receivers, and we might not have the tallest guys, but our guys will compete, and they're excited to go compete, and the challenge of it, and just playing the game within the game, you know, knowing your assignment and knowing the releases. So all those things matter, and they're very talented, there's no doubt. But I know the guys will be excited.
Obviously, Fournette's got a lot of hype as a guy that can do so many things well.
Right.
What would you say is his weakest area as a running back, or is there one?
Yeah, he's he's well deserving of all the I guess accolades and hype. He's well deserving of that.
Justin, you replacing someone like Dave, and then now going against, or not really going against him, but now he's at the school that you're opening up with. How unique is that experience?
Dave's a heck of a coach, and I knew him way back when we were both in the WAC at that time. But he's a heck of a coach, but you know, this is Wisconsin and LSU. I mean, it's really not something we think about or talk about, and a ton of respect for him and their team, and I think the world of Dave. But it's really about the guys on our team and our university, our fans. That's what this game's about.
How much did you change when you came in?
Yeah, there's some things changed, some things didn't, and you always, again, coaching is about taking the guys on your team and building the defense around them to give them the best chance to be successful, and knowing the type of teams you're going to play, that you got good answers for them, and that's how you build it. So some of each.
I'm sure you know this, but LSU's got 2 new guys on tackles at either tackle. How do you exploit, you know, the new starters like that on the ends?
Well, in what way? I mean, they're both they're good, really good players.
Yeah.
So
just as being inexperienced guys who haven't really started much.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that you can there's certain situations you can do some things, but there's also, you got to play assignment football, and you spend too much time trying to, you know, manipulate this guy and the ball's going over there. You know, so there's you know, there's validity to that, but there's also, you got to play sound assignment football at the same time. So it's a balance. Yep.
How have you grown as a coach, you know, from Washington to USC to now? How have you grown? How have you seen yourself improve as a defensive coordinator?
Well, I think anybody that's in any job, whether you're a football coach, a football player, in journalism, like every year you want to improve on things. And if you're not, and you're not growing, then probably time to find a new line of work. So I know that's life in general. So I think you just you learn from every experience you have, hopefully from other people's experiences, and do the best job you can. And our job here as coaches is to help prepare these guys to go play as good as they can play. And so I think that's just a yearly, daily occurrence in the life of a coach, or like I said, really probably, hopefully anything that anybody does.